Legendary gang. So top man, it's with Legend Donald, man. Now I got money. Look at that setup, man. I ain't gonna lie. I'm back at the crib, man, for spring break. Man, I got some things, updates on, man. I'm currently thinking about, I'm getting my laptop fixed sometime this week, man. I don't know if they're gonna have this stuff too. I might just order my own screen. I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do because I'm tired of this old laptop. I'm tired of audio. I'm tired of it too. I don't want to get the same dude to fix it though, man. Like, he gonna be like, bro, you was here a year ago. So I'm like, I don't know. Feel me? But I ain't gonna scare y'all. We gonna watch this together, man. Mr. Nightmare, New Match.com Road 10K. Last time wasn't that bad. I ain't gonna lie to you. Now, this one is 3 Cemetery. This cemetery. Okay, I don't know how to. I don't know if I pronounced that right. I'm in college. But hey, man, New Match.com Road 10K. And I should be able to know how to. I don't know. Feel me? Let's get to it, though. Let's see what's up, man. Don't get scared now. You know what I'm saying? See what's up, though. Story 1.
I'm a cemetery operations coordinator, or you can just call me a cemetery manager. Part of my job is sitting down with guests and family members of the deceased to set up funerals, facilitate the sales of plots, etc. A 30-something-year-old man named Antonio,
30?
a very spiritual man, once sat down with me to purchase a plot for his sick father who was in hospice care. Antonio was a Hispanic man with a very thick accent, and I saw in his eyes he was a very caring man. He showed me pictures of his father, who also looked like a very sweet man, much too young to be taken away from his family. But unfortunately, the man's time came that same week, and Antonio arranged for his father's funeral service at the cemetery.
Damn.
It was a very stormy day, the day of the funeral, which is thought to be a sign of good luck. The funeral procession stopped in front of the front office building briefly. I stepped outside under the front awning of the building and saw Antonio in the car behind the hearse.
Weight room, man.
We waved at each other. Due to the weather, I went back inside until the procession was ready to proceed to the burial site. I got in one of the cemetery pickup trucks and followed the procession to the final stop, where I would stand with my umbrella supervising, as part of my job is making sure funeral services go smoothly.
I couldn't do a job like this, dude. I really couldn't. Like, you in the cemetery, that's the only thing you're doing is, yo, it's got to be some 100 souls up, like, over there, like, for real. I couldn't do that, man. I just couldn't.
After the funeral, I did some laps around the place in the truck just to survey the area, as I did at least a couple times a day. I had a lot of paperwork to take care of, and on top of this, I had to close the cemetery that night. So a little later, I went back to my desk and took care of this. The cemetery closes at 5:30, so as soon as it started to get dark, I drove around the place one more time to ensure all visitors had left, then drove over to the front gate to shut it. It was a relatively warm early March. The days were still on the shorter side, so by closing time on a normal day...
Hey, man, hold on. Make sure you set y'all clocks, man. We're going up an hour, man. So we're going to have to... Hey, you got to push through that. I ain't going to hold you.
Be getting darker. But on this stormy-ass day, it already felt like it was nighttime.
He just cussed,
driving back to my office.
Yo.
I thought I saw someone hurriedly walking down one of the lanes of tombstones.
That's what I'm saying. I couldn't do this, bro.
Disappearing out of sight.
I couldn't do this.
I beeped my horn so as to let them know the place was closed.
Bro, you think you care?
Strangely enough, I didn't see them again. I grabbed my umbrella and ran out into the rain in that direction. I turned beyond the hedge he turned at and looked down this long row of tombstones on one side and hedges on the other. I didn't see anyone. I looked around in the rain for a solid 20 minutes, but eventually I had to give up. I drove back up to the office and browsed through the CCTV footage. None of it picked up on any unusual movement, even though it was a bit harder to see much because of the storm, and it was also pitch black outside.
Ghosts is real. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care what you say. Ghosts are real. Ghosts are very much real. That's not an illusion. That's not no makeup. Ghosts are real.
Now, I tried to multitask, keeping an eye on the camera while finishing up some of my paperwork, when I heard the front door to the visitation room slam shut. I sprang up from my chair and yelled, "Hello?" My first thought was that it was the same person I saw before.
Nick, you about to die. You know what I'm saying, bro? You better start praying to God at this point, man. I ain't gonna care. I don't know what much to say about this, man.
Maybe they got locked in the cemetery and were looking for assistance in leaving. I stepped out into the lobby, but no one was there. I looked around and again said, hello? Maybe
Nigga, why you saying hello when you're not leaving?
I started looking out all the windows, and I stopped when at one of them, I saw someone on the other side looking back at me with a blank expression.
My God.
Jumped back and screamed, and they didn't flinch. I stepped closer and made a squinty-eyed, confused look when I realized I recognized this Hispanic, older-looking man. In my head, it reminded me exactly of the pictures of Antonio's father he showed me. With my heart in my throat, I ran out the front door of the building and to the side where I saw the man, but he was gone. He wasn't booking it into the fields, he wasn't hiding in a bush nearby, he was gone. I looked around me as I stood in the rain getting soaked.
This has to be the worst job of all time, bro. Like, watching over a cemetery, dead people. I couldn't, bro. You can. I don't think you can pay me $1 million. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Back inside, packed up my things, locked up, and got in my car. I opened and closed the gate, once more locking it behind me, and drove home. When my wife asked me at home why I was being so quiet, I just told her, long day at work. To this day, I think I was just overworking myself, and my mind was playing tricks on me. But it still is genuinely disturbing to think about.
Damn, man. That one wasn't that bad.
This was in the dead of October, chilly and windy.
Where is it, Seattle?
I live in a somewhat big town.
Vermont?
It's very
bro, who lives in Vermont?
Early 18th century.
I forgot Vermont was a state. I ain't gonna lie.
A friend and I were bored one night and decided to go fuck around at 3 a.m. I know that going out at 3 a.m. in a poor town isn't exactly smart, but we like to have
nightmare funny, bro. I go count.
We got bored of driving around blasting our music. We're both very big metalheads, and at that point we had our own band, so we decided it would be interesting and cool to walk around a cemetery in the town. Behind the old town square, there's a massive cemetery. It's divided by two sides of a highway, both sides taking up about 20 acres of land.
What the hell is that? Bro, what the hell is that? Y'all not see that?
I said it's massive.
Bro, that like
we
right
decided
there.
to check out the older part of the cemetery. This part is completely separated from the rest of the newer cemetery with an old iron fence and gate. We get to walking around and checking out the cemetery, trying to read the old moss-covered graves, taking pictures, being a little bit disrespectful, I know. But these were graves from at least a century ago, so there was no one living that would be upset by it. And I'm sure the people in the graves didn't mind too much.
What?
After about an hour of checking it out,
what type
we
of
sit down next to a giant pecan tree in the middle of the old cemetery.
What you think, bro? This man trying to defy time and say that the grave people don't care. But they've been there for 100+ years. You think you think they're not gonna care, buddy? That's their life. You know what I'm saying? They protect that. Buddy, you're screwed.
Hear this little girl laughing. Like, I mean, it was really close to us. At first, I assumed maybe it was a toy left on a child's grave or something like that. I'm not one to scare easily, so I just figured it's motion activated or something like that. We are not at all.
Yo, whose video footage is this? What are you doing?
Pointing out that it's creepy and just keep talking and enjoying the ambiance. Then, as in all stories like this, I get the feeling of something or someone watching me. Once again, I just figured that I was letting the entire thing get into my head. Then my friend says he thinks he sees someone in the shadows of a small wooded area right next to the cemetery, of which we were really close. At this point, we're both a little creeped out and decide to get up and leave. And that noise, the exact same noise, played again. And we hear leaves crunching underneath the feet of someone.
Bro.
That's when we booked it.
Yeah, thank you. About time.
The old part of the
I thought he was gonna sit there. I ain't
where
gonna lie.
my car was parked. I've never ran that fast in my life. It sounded like that laughing noise was following us at that point.
Hell no.
We both sort of just went into full flight mode at that point,
too flat,
going as fast as we could without thinking. The noises behind us stopped as we got to my car. I started my car and put it in drive, pulling out into the highway.
Driving the lanes. This nigga driving in 2 different lanes.
We get down the road to the only gas station.
Who's the driver? Is he drunk?
Check in the back of my car. We had both been discussing how we were scared some shit had been done to us.
Talk about that.
We get around to check and immediately find the back door is open.
That tequila, man.
I know
this
for
dude
a fact
driving in 2 different lanes.
Opened it. There was no reason for us to open it. I look in the back seats, make sure nothing's there, get right back in the car, and peel out. I'm still confused about what happened that night. I'm not sure if we both overreacted or what. All I know is that I still feel that weird feeling that something is behind you whenever I tell this story.
Ah, man, that's what happens when you live in Vermont, bro. I ain't gonna cap. Story number 3.
When I was 19,
See what's up.
my friend Sean, who was a big goofball, came over to chill in our basement
Is this
as we often would during the summer.
solitary confinement or something,
I
bro?
remember he had a Coke bottle in his hand and I was eating Wendy's when he said we should check out that creepy little cemetery across town. It was the most random idea ever, and I even told him that. Still, we had no school the next day, and I knew exactly which cemetery he was talking about. I don't know if one should even call it a regular cemetery. It's just a small plot of land with maybe 100 tombstones at most. The tombstone's very archaic looking, and any time we'd pass, there would be no signs of anyone having come to visit within the last decade.
I ain't want to scare you.
The site probably dated
I
back
had to do it, bro.
centuries,
I'm sorry.
and it had this super creepy vibe to it because it was closed off by a gothic metal fence, and it was surrounded by woods on 2 sides, the road on one, and some old abandoned building on the other.
Damn.
Everything about it just gave scary vibes. It took a little persuading, but Sean managed to get me to want to check it out too. Ironically, it was a very cloudy, wettish kind of day, I guess conveniently adding to the mood. Sean pulled up his Honda to the side of the road. I told him to pull up more so it wasn't obvious.
Bro, y'all see
This
that?
was a low-traffic road,
What is
so
that?
it looked kind of suspicious. He
Y'all
pulled up
see
a
that?
few hundred feet down the road, and we got out and cut through the woods so that any potential passing traffic wouldn't see us entering the little cemetery. Hopping the fence in the woods was easy.
Fuck for that noise in the
It was
back.
maybe
My
a
fan.
3 or 4 foot fence. Sean kind of took the lead on this since it was mainly his venture.
Yeah, Sean don't
He
care.
led us
But
through
he
the
don't
eerie
care about
little
his
plot
life.
of land, and we looked at the archaic tombstones. They all seemed to be from the 19th century. The writing on some of them
In
was
the
illegible at that point.
1800s?
I
Hell
know it
no.
sounds super dumb and cliche, but I couldn't help but feel like I was being watched constantly. I started looking around the surrounding woods.
Trust your gut and just go.
I told Sean how creepy this was. I know, he replied. Still, with the feeling of being watched, I looked at the abandoned building next to the cemetery, at one of the windows. For a brief moment, I knew I saw someone standing at the window.
That's what I'm saying, bro. I knew I was tripping,
smudge
bro.
and dirt on the glass, but they casually either ducked or walked away from the window.
Bro, you gotta go.
I told
You
Sean
have
we
to
were
go.
being watched
Push
by
the
someone in
forward.
that building.
Push the
He went
gas,
to look
nigga.
at it as well. Then he went to look for the entrance to it. I told him don't. I said we should just leave before we
Thank
get in
you.
trouble.
Sean don't care though. He doesn't
I
care.
stayed still by the tombstone he was looking at while he walked around the building.
Look at
Then he
this.
found a way
Oh
in.
my god, bro.
He called me over.
Let him
I
get
stayed
caught.
put.
Weed,
Then I
man.
heard some loud kind of crack. So I looked in that direction, and there was this older man, probably around 55. Gray hair, had on a black raincoat. I believe he was wearing jeans, and he had a mustache. But that's all I really got of him. Then he opened his mouth and screamed. Not just yelled.
Bro,
He
no.
screamed, "Get out." He screamed it so loud, I thought I saw birds fly away
He
from
said,
me
get
starting.
out?
And just like that,
Nah, nigga, you gotta push
started
the
to feel
forward. Nigga,
lightheaded.
get out of there, bro.
and suddenly everything went dark.
It
The
went
next thing I
dark.
remember was waking up to being dragged in the woods. I freaked out, thinking I was being
This man is
kidnapped.
getting dragged?
But when I turned and got up, I saw it was just Sean. Sean was freaking out about something. He told me to follow him and run back to the car, so I didn't ask questions.
Bro, is this dude really trying to still do a whole adventure? You just seen an old man to you? Such
As
a
we
man.
ran
Get
through the
this.
woods, I heard something close behind me, and when I turned, I realized we were being followed by someone, so I ran even faster.
Oh my god, bro. Oh
He got
my
to his
god.
Honda, and he basically put it in drive before the car even had a chance to fully start.
Should have been got out of there.
When Sean was
You know what I'm
inside that
saying?
abandoned building, he found a sigil of Baphomet painted on the wood floor, which is basically the sign of Satan.
Hell
Around it
no.
were a bunch of freaky dolls with buttons for eyes. He didn't get to see anything else in the building
Bro!
because he heard the old man scream at me outside. He came running to find me passed out on the floor, and he saw the old man slowly walking over to me. He started to drag me away from the old man and into the woods. He actually literally picked me up and threw me over the fence to get me out.
Yeah, blame W. Fran, but
Quickly
you
came back to
shouldn't have been in that
consciousness, and
position.
that's when we ran. I had only fainted one time in my life, and it was at that moment. I don't know why I fainted, but it happening at a graveyard with some kind of satanic ritual building right next to it makes it that much stranger.
You wouldn't see us doing that, bro. I'm telling you. You just wouldn't see us doing shit like this. Story number 4, man. That one was kind of good. I ain't gonna
My
lie.
grandpa passed away a few years ago. I was always very close with him.
Said, hey, the higher the better, man. More intense.
I paid him a visit at the cemetery. The cemetery he and my grandma chose to be buried at was about an hour drive from my apartment. My family lived closer, so they all went to his grave together. I had to go separately. It was a rainy, depressing day, and there's nothing worse than visiting a cemetery on a gloomy day. The gatekeeper of the gate asked for the plot number. I gave it to him, and he let me in. It's a pretty big cemetery, and I'd only been there a couple other times. Not as the driver, though, so I had a hard time finding it. I didn't see many other people, if any, at the cemetery that day. I'm sure the weather had something to do with it. Eventually, I found his stone and parked my car in the grass to the side. I put some flowers down under his stone, stood there for a while with my eyes closed, and prayed. When I finished my prayer, I opened my eyes and looked up. There was an old man standing about 5 rows of
bro, y'all seen that?
Directly across from me. He was looking right at me.
What the hell is going on? Am I seeing stuff, bro?
I knew this man, though.
I know y'all saw that this time, bro. For real. I was trolling the last couple times.
Couldn't be.
Y'all just saw that, right? You just saw that, right?
Did I just have a spiritual moment? Or were my eyes and mind playing tricks on me? Either way, I got the chills and I had goosebumps. I was quite honestly freaked out. I got back in my car, said, "Love you, Grandpa," and drove off.
Bro,
like I had a head.
It's approving of this job, bro. Like, congratulations, you failed your job, buddy. Because there's no way, man.
On my way home. Not sure why. I was the only car on Prospect Road, a quiet road with dense forest on either side. Commonly, there would be deer crossing here. As my car zipped down the road, I spotted someone on the side of the road coming up. It was odd.
Bro. If you have me stupid.
Or a walking path on this road. I slowed down. Couldn't be.
You slowed down.
Grandpa again. I realized this. My heart dropped 1,000 feet. I swerved the car accidentally. I desperately tried to regain control and come to a stop. Luckily, my car didn't end up in a tree.
What's going on?
Rather, just skidded out in the middle of the road until coming to a halt. I immediately looked back.
Didn't he go the other way?
And I saw a deer on the side of the road, looking at my car.
Yo, this man, bro.
Racing. I was terrified.
This man
I was not well. I needed to get home. I made sure no cars were coming and got back in my lane. I focused on the road as best I could, given what I had just seen twice. I felt weird the rest of the day. Not sick,
I would too.
Something wasn't right with my head. I went to bed early after watching an episode of my show. I woke up at like 2 in the morning to my phone ringing.
Phone ringing at 2 in the morning. Unless it's a sneak link. I don't know what to tell you, bro. You're screwed. Congratulations, you're cooked. Just real with you. Why do people, and I pause because why do people have windows like this, like wide open, just for somebody that's, it's like, come on, fam, like, get some curtains or something, man, like, or close the window.
Unknown number.
Unknown number 2?
Any call at this hour couldn't be good news.
Nah.
I accepted the call and put the phone up to my ear. There was static on the other end.
Why would you answer that?
Finally, I said, "Hello?"
Why would you answer
More
that?
static.
Why would you answer
What I
that?
heard next, I couldn't believe. Just briefly, for maybe half a second, I thought I heard my grandpa's voice over the static.
Bro, you tweaking. I don't even know.
I tried to say hello again, but I was too shook. Every part of my body was actually shaking.
Lay out the drugs,
call cut
man.
to silence and ended.
I ain't gonna lie to you, man. You just lay out the drugs.
I called my phone provider the next day to trace the number. They couldn't. They didn't have enough data to trace it, apparently.
It's an
I
unknown
don't know
number.
if that was just bullshit or not.
You can really
the events
create
that took
numbers,
place
too.
that day and night were the scariest I've ever experienced. Do I think my dead grandpa was trying to contact me? I don't know, because that sounds ridiculous. You'd think if you experienced something like this, you'd be so full of emotion and joy. But no,
Nah,
it still terrifies me. I really still don't know what to think or how to feel about it. Whether it sounds ridiculous or not, this happened, and I wonder almost every other night, was that really my grandpa on the phone?
Look at that. I know y'all seen that. Y'all seen that. Bro, I'm telling you. Ghost the real, bro. I'm telling y'all for real, bro. Last one, man.
My friends and I were very stupid when we were teenagers. I was like 17 or 18 when this happened. It was the month of October, and I wanted to do something scary in the spirit of Halloween. There's a small cemetery about 10 minutes from where I live, and when I was drunk with a couple friends, I said we should sneak into it.
Yo, you will never see us doing that. I'm gonna just go sneak in the cemetery and just fuck around and find out. See, I'm just yeah. You're just young and dumb as hell.
Pick up some names.
About to find out, all right.
Ryan and Mike. We were at Ryan's house. He didn't drink ever. So when I came up with the idea, he was the one to drive us to the cemetery. Mike and I were really the ones.
Yo, them crickets had me.
Ryan was just along for the ride.
About to.
But then again, he hadn't been drinking. Ryan parked in some parking lot across the street. It was a ghost town because it was past midnight at that point.
Bro, y'all see that?
No one was around to see us as we hopped the fence into the cemetery.
Bro. I swear I was
not. It wasn't
tweaking.
Exactly pitch black out, but it was slightly hard to see more than 10 feet in front of us. So we were all using our iPhone flashlights.
Oh, the
there didn't appear to be any night security in the cemetery, so we kind of dispersed from each other.
So who gonna watch that?
Ryan seemed to be following Mike more closely. I could still see where they were because of their flashlights. I went off a little further on my own, and I decided I'd start taking a creepy video.
This nigga here, man. Like, what do you gain from that? Oh my god, I'm in the cemetery at 2 in the morning. I'm about to take a creepy video. I'm about to be dumb as hell and lose my life. Go ahead, man. I want to see what's gonna happen.
So I started recording with the light still on, of course.
And you by yourself. I don't know what made you do that.
And the general eerie vibe of the cemetery at night. I didn't see Mike and Ryan anymore, so I started to go look for them, still recording. I looked at my phone screen and froze. There was a woman, dressed in a white gown or dress, I want to say, with long, gray-looking hair.
Oh my god. Shit! Nightmare, hold on, bro. Like, I was just gonna say he need to add some jump scares. That, I ain't gonna lie, that got me. Boy, I ain't gonna lie, I've been scared way harder than that. But I'm not gonna lie, I was lax. I didn't really expect it. I was just about to say you need to add some jump scares, but oh, Nightmare, you got me. Damn, I would have took off. And you by yourself too, so I don't know what you're gonna do. That got me. I ain't gonna lie, that got me.
She was looking down at the ground. I looked up from my phone screen to look at her in person, but she was gone. I started to back away. I looked back at my phone screen.
Damn.
There she was again. Only now she was looking into the camera, or rather looking at me.
She's looking at you, buddy,
from the phone again and could not see her once more.
She about to be right in your face.
Back down at the screen again. And there I could see her moving closer to me.
Yeah, it's what I'm saying.
I started to scream for Mike and Ryan as I sprinted away from that spot.
Bro, this
couldn't see their lights anywhere. They weren't answering my screams.
Good luck.
I had a feeling they were going to try to scare me, so I ran back for the fence of the cemetery to hop it and get out. I made it to Ryan's car and texted the two of them saying they need to get out of the cemetery now.
Nah.
They met me at the car minutes later. We all sat in the car. I showed them the video I took. They had the same horrified looks on their faces I did. Now that I was actually watching the whole video, I could see the moment the woman slowly lifted her head from looking at the ground to looking at me. And then she starts to move towards me. We could only see her moving for like a second or two before I start screaming in the video and running away. But the way she was moving, you could see no leg movement. It almost seemed as though she were floating to me. I have that video saved on my old iPhone 4S, but the stupid thing won't turn on. It gets stuck at the Apple logo. I don't want to reset that phone until I can get that video off of it somehow.
Damn.
My friends firmly believe the woman in the video was a real, living person who also happened to be in the cemetery that night.
No,
me having been the one to actually find her.
Who just gonna be camping in the cemetery at night?
Well, let's just say I was never a believer in the paranormal until that night.
I am telling y'all, paranormal activity is real. Don't ever let nobody tell you that it's not real. You heard from me first, paranormal activity is real. You know what I'm saying? Is that it? Hey, man, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. It was a good one. Miss Nightmare, you got me. I ain't gonna lie. I thought I was never gonna get scared, but if you start adding some more jump scares, man, I don't know. You feel me? But hey, man, let's go do it for this. You mentioned I wrote to the Cape, man. Y'all let me know y'all want me to more of these. Yeah, that got me. I ain't gonna lie.